All right, question from me to you. What do you mean by negative energy? What is a negative energy? Negative energy is a force that is coming from the inside or the outside. It can be from an environment or a surrounding. And this actually causes pain, stress, and it also drains your energy, which causes you anxiety, depression, lack of creativity, fears, and restlessness. What happens with negative energy is it puts you in a bad mood and disempowering place. And I'm sure all of you knows the idea of diffusion. Everyone who has studied physics, chemistry knows the idea of diffusion. What is diffusion? I'll give you a few minutes just to think about it. And guys, you can use the chat box to answer the questions when I ask you the questions. Please feel free to use it because I want this session to be interactive. Anyone out there? What do you mean by diffusion? All right, so diffusion is the net movement of anything from a region of higher concentration to a lower concentration. And the idea behind negative energy is the same thing. What happens when you're around a person who has a negative mindset? More likely, you're going to be affected by that person's negative mindset. When you're around people who are happy, you are affected by their happiness. You become happy, you feel happy. When you're around people who are spontaneous, you become spontaneous. But at the same time, when you are with people who are sad, who are always crying, who are always in a very bad mood, it affects your energy level at the same time. So this is the idea of diffusion. Energy is like a sponge. It absorbs from the environment around. If you're around positive people, you become positive. And at the same time, if you're around negative people, you get negative vibes and vice versa. So as you can see in the picture, just one drop of blue dye has affected the entire cup of water. The water was pure in the beginning, but just one drop of blue dye has affected the entire cup of pure water. Now it's no more white water, it's no more pure water, it's full of blue water. So this is the same thing that happens to our body, to our mind, to our heart when we are around negative energy. So negative energy can be divided into two sources. Number one, inner source of negativity. Number two, outer source of negativity. So now let me speak about what inner source of negativity is about. Inner source of negativity is something that is coming within you. It's inside you, and you have control over your inner source of negativity. You have control of what you are thinking, of what you are putting into your mind, what kind of negative vibes you're putting into your mind. It's like a self-hypnosis. If you don't train your mindset, if you don't train yourself to stop these interference, negative interference coming into your mind, what will happen? It would have detrimental effect in your body. And why is that? As I told you before, negative energy would affect you as a person. It's not your fault sometimes, because some of the times, most of the people around here would understand, sometimes you're not even aware of what happens to you. How do I say this? It's like, you know, you're sometimes unconscious. Sometimes you're not aware of what is happening around you, what kind of effects comes around from the environment. And this is what you have to be very careful about. You have to be conscious about the environment around you. What will empower you? What will put you down? And as you can see here, an entire sea of water can't sink a ship unless it gets inside the ship. Similarly, the negativity of the world can't put you down unless you allow it to get inside you. As I told you, inner source of negativity is under your control. If you allow negative energy to enter into your mind, I'm sorry, it's your fault. It's you who has control over inner source of negativity. You have to ask about yourself, question yourself, am I letting negative energy empower me? Or am I letting positive energy to empower me? And next we have outer source of negativity. What is outer source of negativity? Anyone? Could you give me some examples of outer source of negativity? What do you think what outer source of negativity is? You can use the chat box to type in your answers. I'm sure most of them are aware of outer source of negativity. Very good, people discouraging, yes. There you go, answers coming in. So negative energy is when you, outer source of negative energy is when you allow people to influence you. This is where you don't have healthy boundaries. You have not built a rapport around you. You have not built a boundary around you. Pleasing others and tends to do whatever it takes to please them. You're not sometimes realizing whether that makes you happy or not. You're just willing to please others around you. This is where outer source of negativity comes in. You are letting yourself being led or controlled by the others around you. This is outer source of negativity. One of the quotes that I love from Mark Twain, it says, keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that, but the really great make you feel that you too can become great. Negative people always have a problem for every solution. They're quick to tell you what you can't do, and they hate to see you prove them wrong by succeeding. Negative people is full of negativity, and they love to spread that negativity to another person. When they see someone succeeding, they're like, okay, I'm coming there. You got to be really, really careful. And if you're a person who has negative vibes, you have to change those negative vibes into positive vibes. And what are some signs of negative energy? Any idea, guys? Any signs of negative energy? What do you think? How can you understand whether you are having negative energy in your body, in your heart, in your mind? Any symptoms? What are the symptoms? What are the signs? Self-doubt? Very good. Getting angry? Yes. You could say getting angry at everything, yeah? Anyone else? Hopelessness, yes. Yes. Postponing things, yes. Procrastinating, in other words. So yeah, there you go. So sudden pain. Suddenly you get some kind of a pain in your heart, in your head. You don't know what's going on. You were healthy all this time, but suddenly it just comes in. Confusion, you're confused as what am I gonna do? What am I doing? What am I gonna do next? Am I gonna sleep? Am I gonna study? Am I gonna go to work? Confusion, discomfort, and another common thing that is out there, depression. And I'm sure most of them out there are struggling, at least 1 out of 10 people out there is struggling with something called depression. Loss of control, mood swings, lack of concentration, anxiety, overeating, restlessness. And these are some signs of negative energy. Each person has different cracks for the negativity to enter into the body. This is the time that we have to identify those doors, those cracks, and be mindful to close those. If someone in your life is toxic, and if that person is the one who is entering negative thoughts into your mind, get them out. Why does it matter? Why does negative energy matter? Question from me to you. I'll give you a few minutes to think about it. Why do you think negative energy matter? Is it important for us to understand about negative energy? If so, why? It can be a source of motivation. How can negative energy be a source of motivation? Safiya. So Lena Sadira says, because if we have negativity, it would be a cause for our downfall. It can put us down and physically, yes. We have answers coming in. To mitigate. Yes, very good. Having knowledge about negativity will let us overcome it. Even if we have the talent, we won't be successful. Exactly. When you have a negative mindset, even if we have the talent, it's very difficult for us to be successful because of negativity in your mind. Yes. So I got in very interesting answers from the participants. Anyways, why does negative energy matter? Because emotional energy is contagious. Now you can see a little girl smiling. And when you look at that picture, you eventually start smiling because the energy is contagious. And then you see another girl crying. The picture, there's a girl that is crying in the picture. And at the same time, if your family members or if one of the people that you loved so much starts crying, eventually you become sad. For an example, if you attend a funeral, you get that energy from there. There's sadness, there are worries, everything just absorbs in you and you eventually feel sad. And at the same time, when you attend a party, what happens? When you attend a party, the music, the happiness around it, the chitty chat, everything just absorbs in your body and you feel happy. And that is the reason most of the people who are going through depression, who are going through anxiety, who has having so many problems, what do? They try to deviate or they try to move their focus into something else. And that is why they move on to getting into parties, getting into some other stuff that makes them happy. They want to be they wanted to be around people who are making them happy. Why? Because energy is contagious. That can be passed from one person to another. And it can make a difference in you. If you are in a relationship or if you are spending more time with a toxic person, it would affect you detrimentally. It would have detrimental health effects. And at the same time, if you have a good relationship with people who are having positive vibes, it would have positive effects in you. Trust me, guys, it is really true. I've experienced it and I'm sure most of you have experienced it. If you're around toxic people, you feel that bad vibes, you feel that negative vibes. Every time you do something, they discourage you. Every time you say, you know what, guys, let's do this. I think this idea is really great. And they say, you know what, your ideas are bad. You just suck, you're not good at anything. But at the same time, when you're with positive people, what do? They uplift you. When you say, guys, I love this idea. How do you think this would work? They will say, oh yeah, that's a great idea. That would work. And this is what happens when you are in between two sets of people, toxic people and positive vibed people. And at the same time, I would like to share another experience. You are excited. Now, when you achieve something, you have achieved something great in life. okay? And you would like to share this this particular news with a lot of people around you. You go to your mom, you go to your dad, you go to all these people whom you love, who always uplift you, and you share their news. What happens? They hug you, they are happy for you, they're really happy for you. They're genuinely happy for you. But at the same time, you're not excited to share this news to someone who is negative. You hesitate. Why? You know that they will always find a way to make it sound negative. They would just in one shot, they would just shut down all your happiness. They will kill your happiness by putting in negative thoughts. Don't get caught in their web. Don't get caught in their web. If you have any person around you who's toxic to you, who's giving negative vibes, run. Just run. Don't be there. Because you're causing detrimental health issues to you. Because researchers have shown even a small amount of negative brain activity can weaken your immune system, making your body prone to illnesses. And this is true. And one of the quotes that I love from Will Smith, he says, "Don't chase people. Be yourself, do your own thing, and work hard. The right people, the ones who really belong in your life, will come to you and stay. Don't chase people. Don't go behind them. Be yourself and be happy being yourself. The right people, the one who really loves you, the one who really deserves to be in your life will stay. So don't you worry." And another one, Albert Einstein says, "Stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution." So stop focusing on negative people. The more you focus on them, the more the negativity will grow in you. But at the same time, you know, the toxic people, the negative people around you gives you some positive things as well at the same time. Just like they give you negative things, they give you positive things as well. What could be the positive things? What can you learn from people that treat you bad? What can you learn from negative people around you? Any idea, guys? What good things can you learn from negative people? You can learn how not to treat yourself that way, how not to treat someone else that way. This is something that you can learn from negativity. Exactly, not to be like them. Thank you, Safia, for that answer. And let's move on to the next slide. And this is something about an experiment. Yep, how not to act like that person, yes. So before I move on to explaining the experiment, I would like to ask you a question, and I want this question to be in your mind at the back of your head. And I want you to answer this question, everyone out there, after I explain what this experiment is about. So the question is, are you a conformist or a non-conformist? I repeat, are you a conformist or a non-conformist? That is your question. So now let's move on to Ash's conformity test. All right, Ash's conformity experiment was a series of psychological experiments that was conducted by a psychologist named Solomon Asch during the 1950s. So what he did was he brought in volunteers. He brought in volunteers and divided them into a few groups. And then what he did was he took a piece of white paper. He took a piece of white paper and drew a vertical line using a black pen on the white sheet of paper. Okay. And then he made samples of this white sheet of paper with the vertical line on it. And he gave these pieces of papers to the different groups around them. And then he asked them, can you guess or can you estimate the length of this particular line? Guess what happened? What do you think happened? So as I told you, say for an example, there were around 5 people in each group, and I would say there were 4 groups and 5 people in each group. So that makes 20 people around. So 5 people in one group, another 5 people in another group, another 5 people in another group. So I'm going to name this group A, B, C, D. So when we asked A, the length of the particular line, everybody in that group said they overestimated the length of the line. Then again, B, they underestimated the length of the line. And C, again, they overestimated the length of the line. What happened here is that everybody in the group agreed with the same answer, although the answer was wrong. Listen to me carefully. Everybody in the group chose the same answer, although they knew that the answer was wrong. What does this say? So at the conclusion of these experiments, participants were asked why they had gone along with the rest of the group. So in most cases, the students or the volunteers stated that while they knew the rest of the group was wrong, they did not want to face the risk of ridiculing themselves. And a few of the participants suggested that they actually believed that the other members of the groups were correct in their answers. So this experiment proves that the people around can influence you. Their energy can influence you. Their ideology can influence you. If you're around smart people, you would become smart. And if you're around dumb people, you would become dumb. It's obvious. And it says, you know, if you want to be a millionaire, be among millionaires. So back to the question, are you a conformist or a non-conformist? So conformist is a person who agrees with everything around, whereas non-conformist stands to what they think is right. So are you a conformist or a non-conformist? Non-conformist, okay. Anyone else who is willing to answer this question? Okay, moving on. Another thing I would like to share is that sometimes, as I told you, toxic people, I told you, whenever you meet toxic people, whenever you're around the toxic people and their negative energy, their negative vibes is affecting you, run. But there are certain instances you cannot run away from people. There are certain people that you cannot run away from. And here is a good idea, a good example of how you could face these kind of people. And this is an idea that was taken by Gaur Gopal Das, and I'm sure most of the people out there know who Gaur Gopal Das is. He's a motivational speaker, and at the same time, he's a monk as well. So what he said was, he said about a story about an HR and an employee. So what happened was, an employee who's working in an organization came to the office where the HR was and told the HR, you know what, I'm leaving this organization. I can't work here anymore. There are so many toxic people around me and they're draining my energy down, and I do not want to work here anymore. The HR said, okay, but let me give you one task. Finish that task and decide whether you're gonna leave or you're gonna continue with us. He said, okay, just one task. All right, I'll do it. So he took a glass of water and he filled the glass of water to the top, and he gave this glass of water to the employee. And he said, Take this glass and walk around the office with the glass and make sure not a drop of water spills on the floor. And then come back to me. And then you can decide whether to leave your organization or to work with us. And the employee said, okay, I'll do it. So he took the glass of water and he went around the organization, and it took a few minutes, couple of minutes, and then he came back to the HR and he said, here you go. I did not spill even a drop of water. And he said, can I leave now? And the HR said, okay, before you leave, let me ask a question. When you took this cup of water around the organization, did you see anyone gossiping about you out there? Did you see anyone telling anything about you out there? Did you even look at people around you? Then the employee said, no, I did not. So what do you understand here? Why didn't the employee look around or hear anything from people around him, from the other co-workers around him? It's because his focus was on the glass. He was afraid that a drop of water would spill on the floor. So his focus, his entire focus was on the cup of water, on the glass of water. Got it, guys? So what do we do when we find people that you cannot run from is to deviate your focus. Deviate your focus into something positive. Don't let negative things take up the space that should be filled with positivity. So make sure that you do this. And another thing that I would like to share is, I'm sure about most of them know who Ibn Sina is. So Ibn Sina also conducted an experiment. So what he did here was he put two identical lambs in two separate cages. He placed a wolf in one of the side cages, and this wolf could only be seen by one of the lambs. I repeat it again. What he did was he put two identical lambs in two cages, yeah? And he placed a wolf in one of the side cages. This wolf could only be seen by one of the lamb, not the other lamb. So one lamb can see the wolf and the other lamb cannot see the wolf. Months after seeing this wolf, the lamb died out of stress and fear, even though the wolf did not do anything to the lamb, because the wolf did not have any access to the lamb. The other lamb who was on the other side, yeah, the lamb who cannot see the wolf, he was healthy. What do you understand here? What do you understand from this experiment? You can understand the positive and negative effects of mental influence and environment on health and body. Unnecessary fear, anxiety, stress does nothing but harm to the body. Did the wolf attack the lamb? No. But the lamb died. Why? Because just looking at the wolf caused him unnecessary fear, unnecessary anxiety, unnecessary stress. And this is what happens in our life, as well. We just bring dumps of negativity into our life, into our thoughts, and we think unnecessary things about future. We just fear for nothing. And this is what we have to be careful, because that gives you unnecessary anxiety, unnecessary stress that you shouldn't keep with you, the stress that you shouldn't have in your life. Yeah. Okay, so now let's move on and let's learn how to protect yourself from negative energy. Number one is to spend time outdoors. Do something, do some activity that relaxes your body. Some physical activity. Go out, look into the nature, take a walk, travel, look at the sky, physical training. Do something that gives you some relaxation to your mind and body. You know that physical training releases endorphins, which are responsible for feeling good. So treat your body right way. And another thing is meditate. Look for inner silence and realize how the thoughts process in your body. You don't exactly need to be a master or a monk to just sense the subtle changes in negative vibrations around us. When you pay close attention to your body, to your mind, to your heart, you can easily recognize the symptoms that you are surrounded with. You can understand. Just relax after the session. Just sit down, take a few minutes and ask yourself, question your body, question your mind. Am I affected by negative energy? Do I let negative energy process in my body? If so, what can I do next to remove it? Remove the toxic thoughts from your mind. So do that. So you can imagine a small ball of brilliant golden light in the center of your chest, expanding the lights at each exhalation. Just close your eyes. Everybody, just close your eyes. And imagine a small ball of brilliant golden light in the center of your chest, expanding the light on each exhalation. This would bring some peace in your mind. And the next thing that you can do is surround yourself with uplifting people. And of course, due to COVID, I don't think most of them are able to go out, have fun. But sooner when when everything in the country, when everything in the world becomes normal, you'll definitely be able to go out and surround yourself with uplifting people. Go out, be there, because no one is happy 24/7. But there are people who have a positive outlook at all of the time. And there are some people who are spreading positive energy. Be around them. Make sure you nurture this relationship with positive influences in your life. People who have an approach similar to us. The next thing is stop worrying. I repeat, guys, stop worrying. Stop worrying about your future. Stop worrying about your past. Yes, learn from your past, but don't learn from your past, but stop worrying about it. Stop worrying about your mistake. Learn from your mistake, but don't worry about it. Because worry will never change the outcome. And something that happened in your past, you have no control over it. And at the same time, things that is going to happen in the future, you have no control over it. You don't know what your future is going to hold. Don't survive in worry. Come out of your comfort zone, try out new things, face your fears, challenges, and failures. And this is the best advice that I could give you to come out of negativity. Every successful person thrives on negative feedback. What does this mean? Every successful person that is out there, they have thrived on negative feedback. Not even one person out there who is successful hasn't had any criticism. Everyone out there has gone through some phase of life that created negativity around them. They have faced so much of criticism, but they process these negative thoughts, these negative criticism into positive. And that is why they were able to become successful. And I'm sure everybody knows who this is. Can everyone identify who this is? Guys, who is the person on the picture? Exactly, Albert Einstein. So what do you know about Albert Einstein? I will answer your question at the end of the session. 2012. Yes, of course, Albert Einstein. So what do you know about Albert Einstein? Anyone? He was expelled from school. Yes, he was expelled from school, discouraged from teachers. Yes, the teachers called him lazy. The teachers called him, he's not a person who is going to go anywhere. He's just lazy. He can't write. He was not able to read because he was a person who was suffering from dyslexia. He was having not a rare disease, it's a common disease right now. And he was suffering from dyslexia and he was not able to read or write. And the teachers said, you know, we can't teach this guy anymore. We can't teach the student anymore because he's lazy. But look where he is right now. We're still using his theories. We're still using his findings to learn at our school. He eventually formulated the theory of relativity, and I'm sure most of you don't even understand what it is. That's how powerful his brain is. And next we have someone. Who is this? Anyone who can identify who this is? I'll give you a clue. He was the inventor of bifocals and the lightning rod. Any guesses, guys? No? Okay, he's none other than Benjamin Franklin. So Benjamin Franklin was another person who was growing around a negative household. His family couldn't afford to finance his education after his 10th birthday, but that didn't stop him. He read books like crazy and took every opportunity he could learn. And that's how he was able to become a founding father, the inventor of bifocals and the lightning rod. And then we have another person. Who is this? And I'm sure most of them know who this is. Any guesses?
Clinton, Hillary.
Hillary Clinton, that is right. So what do you know about Hillary Clinton? She is another person who has faced negativity around. As you all know, you would have read news, so many negative news about her. But did she fail? I mean, what I say is, did she give up on her goals? Did she sit back and say, you know what, I'm negative, I'm really bad, I'm that, I'm this? Did she think about it herself? No. She stood up, she fought, she went into as a presidential candidate. She did everything that she could to achieve her goals. And this is the best example that we can take from these successful people, is not to sit there and cry over the criticism that you hear. Stand up, fight back. Last but not least, who do we have here? Any guesses?
Michelle Obama.
Exactly, Michelle Obama. What do you know about Michelle Obama? She's another person who has been backlashed by a lot of social medias out there. And one of the things that she says is that, slap me in the face and I'm good with it. She says, I don't read that stuff. I learned that early in the campaign. I couldn't keep reading stuff about my husband or myself and what people thought, what people think about us, the negativity around people. So she just said everyone around in an interview, she said in an interview, that I don't read about this stuff. I don't care about those stuff, because there's nothing to do. I don't have anything to do with it. Whatever they say, let them say it. And this is the mindset that we should have as well. I'm sure most of them out there, we are hearing a lot of negative criticism every single day in our life. We achieve something, there will always be someone there in your family or in the set of your friends or your enemies, anyone out there who just hates you for what you're doing. Agree? People will always have something to tell you every time. You cannot please people. It's difficult. The best thing to do is to please yourself. Make yourself happy. If you think what you're doing is right, go for it. And this is Yuko Ono. One of the beautiful quotes that I read is, she said, I realize that if my thoughts immediately affect my body, I should be careful about what I think. Now, if I get angry, I ask myself why I feel that way. If I can't find the source of my anger, I can turn that negative energy into something positive. So what does she say? She says, I realize that if my thoughts immediately affect my body, if she finds out that her thoughts is affecting her body, she thinks about it. What is the negative energy, or what is the thought that is affecting her body. And she asks herself, she questions herself, she finds out the source of this particular thing. So she says, for an example, if it is anger, I find the source of this particular anger. Why am I angry? And convert this particular source into positive energy or into something positive. And this is the advice that I can give you, everyone out there. Sit down there and think to yourself, is something affecting your body? Is something stopping you from achieving goals in your life? Is something stopping you from reaching something that you really wanted to do in your life? If it is yes, find out what it is. Remove that obstacles from your life. If it is a person who is toxic, remove that person. If it is a thing, remove it. And achieve your goal. Put a lot of positive thoughts in your mind. Read a lot of motivational quotes. Watch a lot of motivational videos. Just feed your mind, feed your heart, feed your body with a lot of positive thoughts. Trust me, guys, it would do a lot of difference in you. We are already living in a world full of negativity. It's enough. We don't want ourselves to be negative. We need people who are positive. You be positive and you spread positivity around people. That is the best thing that you could do. You be positive and you spread positivity around people. So before I end the session, I would like to say, never, ever, ever give up on your goals just because some negative people around you is causing to stop you. Never, ever give up on your goals just because there are people who are criticizing in what you want to do. If you have a clear goal in your life, you know what you want to do with your life, you know that you've got to reach there somehow, do it. Don't wait for others to uplift you. Don't wait for others to push you because they're not going to do it. You have to do it yourself. How do you do it? Feed yourself with a positive thought. Feed your mind with positive thoughts and go for it. And thank you everyone for participating for the session today.